In 2016, a private equity firm called HIG Capital paid $2 billion for Quicken. 1 year later, the new owners killed perpetual licenses. Users who had owned Quicken for 10, 15, even 20 years were told their software would stop working unless they subscribed. Pay annually, forever, or lose access to decades of financial data. Some of those users had been tracking their finances in Quicken since 1983, 40 years of transaction history, and now a private equity firm was holding it hostage. That betrayal sent people searching for alternatives, and they found two very different answers. GnuCash has been free since 1998, 26 years of volunteer development, professional double-entry accounting, no subscriptions, no corporate owners who might change the deal. And then there's hledger, created in 2007 for people who think graphical interfaces are the problem. Your finances stored in plain text files, tracked in Git-like source code, no company involved at all. Quicken, GnuCash, hledger. One is holding your data hostage, one assumes you understand accounting, one assumes you're a programmer. I investigated all three. GnuCash is the obvious first stop for Quicken refugees. The GnuCash development team launched this software in 1998. Volunteer community, funded by donations, 500,000 users, cross-platform, completely free with no trials, no limitations, no subscriptions. 26 years of continuous development, no private equity owners, no killed licenses, no hostage situations. But GnuCash uses double-entry accounting. Every transaction requires a debit and a credit. The interface looks like early 2000s software. No mobile app. Bank sync requires manual file downloads. For users who understand accounting and don't mind the dated interface, GnuCash is a legitimate Quicken replacement. Professional-grade tools at zero cost. But some programmers looked at both Quicken and GnuCash and asked a different question. Why does personal finance software need a graphical interface at all? That's where hledger enters the story. Simon Michael created hledger in 2007, inspired by Ledger, which John Weigley had built in 2003. The philosophy is radical. Your finances belong in plain text files that you edit with a text editor. No database, no proprietary format, no company that might change the rules. Just a text file you can read in any editor, track with Git version control, and query with command line tools. The format looks like this: a date, an account name, an amount, human-readable, future-proof. If hledger disappeared tomorrow, your data would still be accessible in any text editor for the rest of your life. About 10,000 users, completely free. Powerful command line queries that let you slice your financial data any way you want. But hledger is not for normal people. There's no graphical interface by design. You edit text files manually. There's no bank sync. Every transaction you enter by hand. The learning curve involves understanding command line syntax and plain text. Accounting conventions. For programmers who love the terminal and want their finances version controlled like source code, hledger is genuinely brilliant. Your data in a format no company can obsolete. For everyone else, hledger is an interesting idea they'll never actually use. So what about the people who want comprehensive features and don't mind paying? That brings us back to Quicken, and the situation is more complicated than the betrayal suggests. Scott Cook and Tom Prue created Quicken in 1983. Intuit owned it for decades, 15 million users at its peak. Investment tracking, bank sync, bill pay, budgeting, mobile apps. The most comprehensive personal finance software on the market. 40 years of continuous development means the feature set is genuinely unmatched. Portfolio performance tracking, capital gains calculations, asset allocation reports, bill payment integration. If you need everything in one application, Quicken has it. But the 2016 sale to HIG Capital changed everything. Private equity firms buy companies to extract value. The subscription shift in 2017 was predictable. Users who'd paid once for perpetual software were told that model was over. Subscribe or lose access. Since then, the subscription cost has increased multiple times. The Windows version has more features than Mac. Mac users pay the same price for an inferior product. Bank connections break frequently and require troubleshooting. And here's the real problem. Your financial data is locked in Quicken's format. Converting to alternatives is difficult. The company that betrayed users once has every incentive to keep raising prices because leaving is painful. For users who need comprehensive investment tracking and bank integration and are willing to pay annually despite the history, Quicken remains the most feature-complete option. Nothing else matches its breadth. For everyone else, that breadth comes with strings attached. Right, so here's where I land. Hledger is the programmer's choice, plain text files, command line queries, Git version control, free forever in a format that will never become obsolete, but no GUI, no bank sync, and a learning curve that filters out anyone who isn't comfortable in a terminal. GnuCash is the accounting purist's choice. Professional double entry system, 26 years of free development, no corporate betrayals, but dated interface, steep learning curve, and no mobile app. Quicken is the comprehensive choice. 40 years of features, investment tracking, bank sync, everything in one application. But a private equity owner who killed perpetual licenses and keeps raising prices, with your data locked in a format that makes leaving difficult. One assumes you're a programmer, one assumes you understand accounting, one assumes you'll keep paying the company holding your data hostage. Every choice is a trade-off. At least now you know what you're trading.